Hello folks, in this one we're looking at performance cars that are available for under 15 grand. Now there are some that are weird and wonderful in here, some that you don't necessarily think of immediately when you're thinking about a performance car, and some also classics, old favourites. Now what they've all got in common is that they've got less than 80,000 miles shown on the clock. They're all under £15,000 and they're all 2013 or newer. Now I'm not going to vouch for the reliability of any of these cars. Some of them in here are actually pretty decent generally, but some of them far less so. So as always, buyer beware. And don't forget to get your hands on this. It's my guide to buying a used car in the UK. And I give you things like a checklist of all the different things to check out for on a test drive and all the things to look at away from the car. As we also look at the importance of a car history check. So my link to that book and to VCheck are in the video description. Give this one a thumbs up and let's crack straight on. Right folks, so we're going to kick things off with the Audi TTS. Now some of you will say it's a hairdresser's car. Right, I don't get to see the hairdresser very often these days, and I just like to keep in touch basically by looking at these cars. No, seriously, some of the hairdressers' cars, as they're known, are actually amazing fun to drive, and this is definitely one of those. Just the standard versions of the TT are a brilliant laugh, and when you get to the TTS, that's a serious piece of kit. Let's have a look at the numbers on it to get us started. 5.3 seconds to 62. And in terms of running costs, 290 quid a year, tax, combined 36 mpg. 2 litre turbo petrol engine, which we're going to see in quite a lot of cars in this video, that particular engine. This one's the S-Tronic, so that's the automatic gearbox, and it's the Quattro. I'm not going to go on too much about reliability in these, but with the S-Tronic gearboxes, it's the same. If you see any in this video that are a DSG, you need to really make sure the gears are shifting nicely up and down, particularly sort of second to third, third to fourth. You need to make sure the gearbox has been serviced as it should have been as well. They give you an absolutely brilliant driving experience when they're working perfectly. They can be a little bit unreliable. Not always the end of the world if there are issues, but definitely worth getting checked out. So this TTS, let's have a look at it. It's unashamedly sporty. Great lines on that car. I think it's a brilliant looking car. I don't care what anyone says about it being a hairdresser's car or whatever. I think it's a brilliant looking car. Very cool cabin. You sit very low down in that. And that low seating position in the car only sort of helps you connect with the road a bit more, and it makes you feel like you're going a lot faster than you actually are. 13.5 grand for this one. 2 litre TFSI Black Edition S-Tronic Quattro. Service history on the car is as follows. Audi main dealer, 12,000, blah, 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 blah. So it's had plenty of services on it by the looks of it, but as always, inspect and don't expect. So even if you've got that service book in front of you and it's all nicely stamped up, give the garages a ring, see if they actually know the car, because lots of unscrupulous car dealers buy service stamps off things like eBay and have a stack of them in their office, and they'll just sit and stamp the books. Obviously receipts are also very good to see. More tips like this in my book. Next we've got the Audi S3. This is the TFSI Quattro Euro 6, 2014 model, 13,800 quid with 73,000 miles on it. This one is a private seller. Pretty much the same as that TTS, just with a different lid on it. It's got a little bit of damage on it, this one, but nothing too serious by the looks of things. Full Audi service history, one is now due, and the 𝑘 at 51,000 and 70,000 miles. That's a very good thing to have done. New MOT, interior good condition, blah, 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 blah. Great car, the S3. This is back when Audi was still doing very high quality interiors and brilliant build quality. Things have slipped in more recent times, in my personal opinion, but that era of Audi was a brilliant, solid thing. Next, we've got the Volkswagen Golf. Again, it's the same sort of setup as the last two cars, so I'm not gonna bleat on about it. Performance 5.1 seconds. This is the Golf R, obviously. 5.1 seconds, 220 quid tax, 39.8 mpg. 15 grand on that one for a 2015 plate. Again, it's four-wheel drive. This one's manual rather than automatic, but Golf R is good bang for your buck. What's better bang for your buck is the Polo GTI, 1.8 GTI with the DSG automatic gearbox. So this one's got a lot less power than those previous cars we've looked at that have all been based basically on the same platform. 189 horsepower, but they're so small and so nimble, they deliver grins like by the second. Brilliant, fun little things to drive. Lots of motoring journalists have got a Polo GTI or have had a Polo GTI, and motoring journalists and fat sort of fake journalists like me get to drive lots and lots of different cars, and lots of them will tell you that Polo GTI is about as much fun as you can have per pound as anything else out there. 135 quid a year to tax, 50 mpg is claimed, and 0-66.7 seconds. Really sort of ticks the fun box and the practicality box there, because it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to run. As you'd expect, the Titan interior on a little GTI, I like them. Now check this out, performance car video, and it's a diesel. It's the BMW 4 Series 435D M Sport Coupe. Service history is very important on one of these cars. This 435 diesel performs brilliantly, and it's a great blend of sort of efficiency and speed. However, you must get them serviced regularly. The oil's got to be done very regularly, and you need to get that timing chain checked and that kind of thing. I have it on very, very good authority that the manufacturer suggested service intervals are not sufficient on one of these. Okay, there will be some of you that have got great experience and you've totally abused it. That's fine. But more often than not, if you just stick to the manufacturer guidelines on this, you might have one or two problems, according to someone I know who is indeed a mechanic at BMW dealership and spends all day fixing these 420s, 430s and 435Ds that have been serviced in line with manufacturers' recommendations. Now look at this, 4.7 seconds to 62, and this is boggo standard. You can do quite a lot to these. You can get them mapped and what have you, and the sky's the limit. You can get some crazy performance out of them. But 4.7 seconds as it comes, no one needs more than that really, do they? 180 quid a year is the annual road tax, and 50 mpg is claimed. I mean, nice looking car as well. I've always liked the 4 Series. Obviously I had a 420 myself. But yeah, I like them a lot. Right, you know that thing I said about the start about reliability? Well, this is a Maserati. This is the Ghibli 3-litre diesel V6 ZF Euro 5. The V6 petrol is my preference, but there actually weren't any for sale at the time I looked at this. Not that came sort of within budget and under 80,000 miles and everything else. I think it's the best looking car in its class. Gorgeous looking thing, and the engine note, even on the diesel, is astounding. The petrol V6 sounds like a Ferrari. It really sounds amazing, and I like the interior. I like everything about this car apart from the reliability. Let's have a look at the numbers. 77,000 miles on this one. It's coming in a shade under 15 grand. 220 quid a year to tax. 47.9 mpg is claimed, and 6.3 seconds to 60. So it's not the quickest one here, but oh wow, what a way to travel. Look at it, I love it. And if you like that more sort of luxurious executive look, then look no further than this bad boy, the Mercedes-Benz E-Class. There aren't too many cars that suit the chairman of the board as much as they suit a roadman, and this is one of them. This is the 3.5 E400 V6 AMG line coupe, two-door petrol G-Tronic Plus. Let's look at the numbers on this. Running costs, 40.9 mpg, 220 quid a year to tax it. And performance, 5.2 seconds to 62. And there we go. Big, bold, sexy Merc, cool interior. I love these things. As I said, not going to bang on about reliability, but things like adaptive suspension and your automatic gearbox and all the extra little gadgets and stuff on one of these, you really, really need to test out, because if things don't work, they cost lots of money on a Mercedes. Next, we've got the Mini John Cooper Works. Now, these are well known for going like stink. 208 brake horsepower, 2014 63 plate, this one. And let's have a look. There you go, cool little car, brilliant fun. Again, you're sitting fairly low and it's a very small car, so it feels like you're going much faster than you are in one of these. 220 quid a year road tax, 42 mpg. and 6.5 seconds to 62. Great car. Just remember, on a Mini, anything goes wrong with it and it costs a bit more than the earth. And if you think, well, I could probably just do it myself at home, whew, it's difficult on one of these, very difficult. 11.5 grand for that one, not bad. Next we've got the Mazda MX-5 RF. So this is sort of the roadster version of the MX-5. This one's got a hard top, and let's just check this out. Look at that. I think that's a great looking car. It reminds me a bit of sort of 80s Corvette. Very cool indeed. It's got chipped windscreen and a couple of bits of damage on it, this one, but 13.5 grand. That gets you 165 quid road tax, 40.9 mpg, and 0-62 of 7.4 seconds. The MX-5 is known to have one of the best manual gearboxes in the business. Quite often when people are doing a custom engine swap on something, they'll end up sticking an MX-5 gearbox into it when they can, because they're so good. And even though they're not the fastest things in the world, they're just brilliant driving cars. Great fun, and a brilliant platform if you're looking to do a few tweaks and upgrades yourself. The aftermarket for Mazda MX-5 bits is huge. Here we go, here's one you didn't expect to see. It's the Volvo V40 2-litre T5 R-Design Lux Nav Geartronic Euro 6. Now just be careful of the Geartronics. I'm pretty sure it's the same as a Ford Power Shift, and that's affectionately known as the power in many a circle, because they go wrong quite a lot. It's a dual clutch system, not the best one in the world. So you'd have to properly check that out. But apart from that, it's a Volvo, isn't it? 290 quid tax, 47.9 mpg, 6 seconds to 62, top speed 149, and that's 10 grand. A bit of a sleeper as well, you know, no one's going to really suspect this thing of being a fire-breathing beast, but 0-62 of 6 seconds, it's no joke, is it? 2016 Skoda Octavia. This one's not the estate, but you can obviously get these in estate form. It's the 2-litre TSI VRS 230. Let's have a look at the numbers on it first. 180 quid road tax, 45.6 mpg. 0-60 in 6.5 seconds. Nice practical hatchback, decent interior, very VW group, that interior, isn't it? Plenty of space for passengers in the back, and you can get plenty in the boot. These are great cars that really strike that balance between performance and practicality. Unfortunately, it's not always the easiest thing to get one that's been untouched, to get an original one. People often will go down to Halfords and spend quite a lot of money to devalue the car. And yeah, the Octavia seems to be victim of that perhaps more often than some others. But generally, get a well-serviced one of these and it'll be relatively problem-free. Just look after it and try and get one as original as possible. Right, second hairdresser's car of the day is the Mercedes-Benz SLK. This is the 3.5-litre SLK 350 V6 Blue Efficiency AMG Sport G-Tronic Plus. Obviously, hard top, which retracts down electronically. There we go, there it is with the top up. Only 2 seats, great little car, short wheelbase, sit low to the ground, chuck it around a bit. 265 quid road tax, 39.8 mpg, and 0-62 of 5.6 seconds. Very important to get one that's been well serviced, and this one looks like a very nice example on paper at least. I know one of the big sort of failure points on these is the roof going up and down properly, so that's definitely something to get checked out. And then always with these sort of cars, if they've got an automatic gearbox, you really want to put that through its paces. Alfa Romeo Giulietta 2016 model, 1750 TBI Veloce TCT Euro 6. Oh, an Alfa with an automatic gearbox. Ooh. It makes your bumhole twitch, doesn't it? Let's have a look at it. Quite cool looking, the Alfa. I always think they look a bit like a Seat Leon and someone's sort of taken a plane to the front and rounded off the edges. But generally, I think it's a good looking car and the performance on them is brilliant. 64,500 miles on this one. It goes without saying that you want this to have been serviced to within an inch of its life, and you want all the receipts to go with it. 220 quid road tax, 41.5 mpg, and 6 seconds to 62, so really not too shabby a little car. Folks, as always, all the cars I've looked at here come up as being clean history, so none of them are Cat S's or Cat N's or Cat C's or Cat D's, anything like that, according to this check. But as we know, if you've watched my other videos, it doesn't mean a great deal. much more about that in my book. Have I mentioned my book? I think I'll mention it again in a sec. Thanks ever so much for watching, folks. Please use that link to 𝘼𝙁𝙁 that's in the video description and pinned as a top comment. And don't forget to go and check this out too. If you have read it, please leave a review on Amazon. If you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe if you haven't already done so. See you next time.